Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Protests intensify in Los Angeles after National Guard deployed over immigration raids face off with law enforcement. Trump threatens action against demonstrators.
They spit, we hit. And I told them, nobody's going to spit on our police officers. Nobody's going to spit on our military.
US and China set to hold talks in London. Trump says China agrees to export rare earth minerals. Ukraine rejects claim of Russian forces entering key central region. Zelenskyy vows to press on with prisoner exchanges with Moscow. World leaders gathered in France for the third UN Ocean Conference. Union Minister Jitendra Singh leads the Indian delegation. Climate change, pollution, loss of ecosystem high on the agenda. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar begins a week-long visit to France and Belgium. Will hold talks with EU leaders, aims to renew momentum to the ongoing cooperation in diverse areas. And in sports, Carlos Alcaraz pulls off a stunning comeback after beating 2 sets down to defeat Yannick Sinner, defends French Open title after longest Roland Garros final. As the demonstrations over federal immigration raids continued for a third day in Los Angeles, U.S. troops have made their first detentions inside military areas set up on the U.S.-Mexico border as part of the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration. Arrests are being initiated. Meanwhile, the National Guard have been deployed, culminating in confrontations between protesters and police. The unprecedented military areas along the 260 miles of border in New Mexico and Texas were declared extensions of the U.S. Army bases by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The troops are temporarily detaining migrants and other civilian trespassers. U.S. President Donald Trump speaking to reporters in New Jersey amid the ongoing demonstrations in Los Angeles against immigration raids, threatened action against demonstrators. Trump said that that strong action will be taken if danger is felt.
Is what I think it is. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order. We're going to see what we need. We'll send whatever we need to make sure there's law and order. If people stand in the way of law and order, they will face charges.
California Governor Gavin Newsom and U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth traded insults on social media over the deployment of the National Guard by Donald Trump. After U.S. Secretary of Defense posted on X that U.S. Marines could also be deployed if violence continues, the Californian governor has shot back and called it a deranged behavior. Hegseth then responded, writing, "Deranged equals to allowing your city to burn and law enforcement to be attacked." Newsom also wrote on X that these are the acts of a dictator and not a president. He accused Trump of trying to manufacture a crisis and called National Guard deployment in Los Angeles as unlawful. He also requested the Trump administration to withdraw its order to deploy 2,000 National Guard troops in Los Angeles County. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has criticized the Trump administration for provoking chaos in her city through its recent immigration raids that prompted mass protests throughout the weekend. She said that when you raid Home Depot and workplaces, you cause fear and you cause panic.
When you raid Home Depot and workplaces, when you tear parents and children apart, and when you run armored caravans through our streets, you cause fear and you cause panic. And deploying federalized troops is a dangerous escalation, but we need to be real about this. This is about another agenda. It's not about public safety. There's clearly no plan, and there is clearly no policy.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has criticized the U.S. government over the immigration raids. She said that the phenomena will not be addressed with raids or violence and that Mexico always calls for peace and non-violence.
We do not agree with this way of addressing the immigration issue. The phenomenon will not be addressed with raids or violence. It will be by sitting down and working on comprehensive reform that takes into account all Mexicans on the other side of the border. That is our position, and we'll always call for peace, for non-violence, not to intensify any violent form of protest.
All right, Akshay Dongre is joining us to get us more. Akshay, good morning. Now, the U.S. troops' action and their crackdown on the demonstrators has raised eyebrows both domestically and internationally. How are the protests expected to proceed?
We cannot, predict that how the protesters are going to react as far as the deployment of the National Guards are concerned, because about 2,000 National Guards are going to aid the immigration services as far as the protests are concerned. But the moment the protests turn violent and the moment the government has information about foreign elements or maybe illegal immigrants being part of this arsoning and protest, then the government has all the rights to use whatever source they have. It's the coming in from the Trump administration. Whereas what we are seeing, the Democrat side is criticize the deployment of troops against the American citizens on their own soil. So the situation remains tense. But one thing is for sure that immigration and illegal immigration has been in the core of Donald Trump's agenda, and it doesn't seem like he's going to step down as far as action against the illegal especially those who are rioting and protesting against the rules of evicting these illegal immigrants are concerned. So it remains to be seen that how the protest will continue. But as of now, the use of force by the US government, which is the decision that they have made, and it seems that they have to back with the kind of decisions that the government is taking, especially when it comes to detentions and deployment of strict law and order in Delhi.
All right, Akshay. Now, Donald Trump has vowed against illegal immigration. Help our viewers understand with a quick background on the border policy. And also, is this stern action of deploying the U.S. troops and their crackdown on the demonstrators, is it sufficient enough to curb illegal immigration, the stern stand which has been taken by Donald Trump?
Well, illegal immigration is a vast problem. Not only US, the world is dealing with it. And force is not the only solution that has also been actually demonstrated around the world. So a lot more needs to be done, including prevention of this illegal immigration, talking to the governments from where these illegal immigrants are coming in, majority at least, and then providing an entire roadmap, because this kind of a knee-jerk reaction is not going to help much as far as finding a permanent solution is concerned. But when it comes to the policies of Donald Trump, even when he was elected the last time around, his biggest agenda was build a wall, which was building a wall between US and Mexico to stop illegal immigration coming in, especially from the vast deserts of Texas and other places. And the second is about how Donald Trump has been calling for action against the immigrants and even evicting them, deporting them. We have seen that happening around the world. But it seems that now forceful action is being taken.
All right, Akshay, also Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has put forth her opposition to the way the demonstrations are being tackled in the U.S. What do you make of the fallout of this between U.S. and Mexico? Because the fallout of this development between U.S. and Mexico, the Mexican president has called for peace and non-violence.
Well, it's obvious that we call for peace and non-violence, and the other country does that. That's made between US and Mexico in that they are neighbors. They cannot move away from each other. Their domestic politics are going to impact each other. US is a much larger economy, much larger power. So obviously, its implication on Mexico is much more. A lot of Mexicans also cross into US illegally. Most of them are, in fact, Mexicans when it comes to illegal immigration. So it is definitely a point of concern for both the countries to solve this issue without the usage of force against illegal immigrants is going to invite a backlash.
All right, Akshay, also, talking of the response against this action, then the California governor, Los Angeles mayor, both have expressed opposition and have expressed concern on how the demonstrations are being tackled by the Trump administration. What do you make of this as well?
Well, the governor has all the rights to call for whatever, measures they think is right. But the Trump administration also realizes that, this is a vast problem. And talking to the illegal immigrants is not going to find a solution, because those people have left the country already. If they have taken this big of a step, then it's highly unlikely that just talking to them is going to send them back.
Akshay, one last question. What do you make of changes Trump administration has brought in to the U.S. in the run-up to make America great again? We've seen how Trump has taken, we've already seen the tough tariff actions that have been taken by the Trump administration. Added to that, this tough crackdown on the illegal immigration in the country. What do you make of the, of the way the Trump administration 2.0 has evolved or changed after the Trump administration won?
Well, now they have much stricter laws, but as India has rights to take action against illegal immigrants, or any other country for that matter, it seems, that Trump administration will also have that same right, and they have the mandate of the people, so they can do it. But rather, people are calling for a more peaceful manner of the action that has been taken.
All right, Akshay, thank you for joining in with those details. All right, that was Akshay Dongre spelling out more on the LA protests. We'll keep you updated, but at present we're heading for a short break. You're watching DD India News Hour, but after the break, strong earthquake shook Colombia on Sunday. In spite of government opposition, Italians vote in a referendum on easing citizenship rules and strengthening labour laws. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's government is opposing the both and urging people to abstain.
Always welcoming. The vibe of Punjab is larger than life. Warm up to grandeur that's beyond compare. And history that's dotted with tales of bravery. Smiling soul of India, where music, art, cuisine and culture comes together to create an unforgettable impression. Punjab is all set to win your hearts.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Russia on Sunday announced that its troops had reached the border of Ukraine's east-central Dnipropetrovsk region. Russia's defense ministry said that forces from a tank unit had reached the western border of Donetsk People's Republic and are continuing to develop an offensive in the region. On the other hand, Ukraine's military dismissed Russia's claim that its ground forces had entered the Dnipropetrovsk region for the first time, calling it disinformation. Although there is ongoing discussion about peace, the conflict is intensifying, with Russian troops seizing more Ukrainian territory while Kyiv launching prominent drone strikes and sabotage operations targeting Russia's nuclear-capable bombers. Separately, Ukraine and Russia continue testy exchanges over the details of a planned large prisoner swap agreed to during last week's talks in Turkey. The exchange is likely to move ahead in the coming days. Meanwhile, in a nightly video address, Ukrainian President Zelenskyy vowed on Sunday to press on with prisoner exchanges with Russia and said any failure by Moscow to uphold humanitarian accords cast doubt over US and other efforts to end the more than 3-year-old conflict.
Говорив сьогодні і вчора.
Ukraine continues to do everything possible so that the release of our prisoners of war and the repatriation of the bodies of our Ukrainian fallen takes place. Full lists from Russia, about which we agreed in Istanbul, are still not being handed over to us. The important thing is to get a result. The important thing is for people to return home. We hope the prisoner exchanges will continue.
Повних списків від Росії.
Bolivia's government deployed military forces to secure roads amid protests calling for former President Evo Morales to be reinstated as candidate in the August presidential election. The health ministry reported that demonstrators attacked an ambulance carrying injured individuals during the unrest, marking a sharp escalation in tensions ahead of the vote. President Luis Arce condemned the violence against the medical staff and said that he would make an international complaint. He also accused Morales of taking advantage of his supporters and their well-being. Morales, who was barred from running by electoral tribunals, said that he was fighting to defend democracy, the economy and the country's natural resources. The Israeli army has retrieved the body of Hamas's military chief Mohammed Sinwar in an underground tunnel beneath the European hospital in Khan Yunis following a targeted operation last month. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu had announced Sinwar's death last month. Sinwar was the younger brother of Yahya Sinwar, the Palestinian militant group's deceased leader and mastermind of the deadly October 7th attack on Israel. Israel's army on Sunday also gave a small group of foreign reporters a tour of the tunnel. IDF spokesperson Brigadier General Efi Defrin said the tunnel had served as a major command and control compound for Hamas and that the tunnel was targeted by Israeli forces in an operation last month. Defrin informed that the army had carefully planned the strike near the European hospital in order not to damage it.
We are here in the city of Khan Yunis. This is the European hospital right behind me. The European hospital in Khan Yunis. You can see the very big hole in the ground right in front of it. This is the entrance we opened for a very big command and control compound, Hamas command and control compound. Yet this is another example of the cynical use of Hamas, using civilians as human shields, using civilian infrastructure, hospitals, again and again. We find those infrastructure. We would prefer not to be here today. I would prefer not to, the IDF would prefer not to hit or target hospitals. We didn't target hospital. It is a big achievement for us, hitting in the outskirts of the hospital and around it without damaging the hospital.
A large trench dug in front of the emergency room entrance led to the hole in the claustrophobic concrete tunnel that was used as a headway by Hamas fighters. During the search of the site, Israeli forces recovered weapon stockpiles, ammunition, cash and documents that are now being reviewed for intelligence value. Another senior Hamas leader, Mohammed Shabana, commander of the Rafah brigade, was also found dead at the scene, along with a number of other terrorists who are still being identified. Tehran on Sunday warned that it would reduce its cooperation with the United Nations nuclear watchdog if an anti-Iran resolution is passed at an upcoming meeting of the world body. Spokesman for Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, Behrouz Kamalvandi, said that IAEA should not expect the Islamic Republic of Iran to continue its broad and friendly cooperation. While Iran's parliament speaker said that the latest US proposal for a nuclear deal does not include the lifting of sanctions, as negotiations appear to have hit a roadblock. The two foes have held 5 rounds of Omani-mediated talks since April, seeking to replace a landmark agreement between Tehran and world powers that set restrictions on Iran's nuclear activities in return for sanctions relief before US President Donald Trump abandoned the accord in 2018 during his first term. On May 31st, after the 5th round of talks, Iran said that it had received elements of a US proposal, with officials later taking issue with ambiguities in the draft text. Key issues in the negotiations have been the removal of biting economic sanctions and uranium enrichment. Tehran says it has the right to enrich uranium under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, while the Trump administration has called any Iranian enrichment a red line. The Hague will host a high-level NATO summit, one that's already drawing global attention. With US President Donald Trump confirming his attendance and key topics like Ukraine and the Indo-Pacific on the agenda, the stakes are high. Not just for Europe, but also for key partners like India. Our correspondent Mark Limberg reports.
Here in The Hague, final preparations are underway for the upcoming NATO summit, one of the most anticipated gatherings of global leaders in recent memory. The city is hosting the event at a temporary NATO headquarters here in The Hague, where security is tight and international attention is growing by the day. What makes this summit especially significant is the confirmed attendance of US President Donald Trump. Known for his criticism of NATO, calling it obsolete, Trump's presence now comes at a time of deep global insecurity. His return to the world stage is being watched closely, not just in Europe, but around the globe. Ukrainian President Zelenskyy will also attend, expected to push for continued military and political support in the face of a prolonged and brutal war with Russia.
Your visit to the Netherlands sends yet another strong signal that the people of Ukraine and its president will not give in to Russian aggression.
The summit will be led by NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, the former Prime Minister of Holland, who now has a key role in steering the alliance through turbulent waters. For India, the stakes are also rising. NATO's increasing attention to the Indo-Pacific region signals a shift, one in which India is being recognized more and more as a crucial strategic partner in shaping a stable global order. This summit may take place in the Netherlands, but its outcome could shape security far beyond Europe. Mark Limburg reporting for DD India from The Hague, the Netherlands.
Italians began 2 days of voting on Sunday in a referendum on easing citizenship rules and strengthening labour laws. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's government is opposing the vote and urging people to abstain. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's government opposes the changes and has urged voters to abstain, aiming to invalidate the vote by keeping the turnout below 50%. One key proposal would cut the residency requirement for non-EU migrants seeking citizenship from 10 years to 5, aligning Italy with France and Germany. Campaigners say around 2.5 million people could benefit, while Meloni's coalition recently tightened rules on citizenship by descent. More than 213,500 people acquiring Italian citizenship in 2023 doubled the number from 2020 and accounting for 1/5 of the total number of naturalizations in EU countries. More than 90% were from outside the bloc, mostly from Albania and Morocco, as well as Argentina and Brazil, two countries with large Italian immigrant communities. Official results are expected after polls close on Monday. Residents of a small Serbian town turned out in large numbers on Sunday for a municipal election that posed a high-stakes test for the national government after months of student-led protests. The vote in Kosjeric was the first since the protests broke out against the governing Nationalist Party in November, after 16 people died when the roof of a newly renovated train station collapsed in the city of Novi Sad. The accident, widely blamed on deep-rooted corruption, sparked rallies that have heaped pressure on populist President Alexander Vučić. Vučić, citing what he said was data from local electoral authorities, said that SNS had won the election with more than 50% of the votes, but his opponents also claimed victory. The town's electoral communication had yet to publish official results late on Sunday. His opponents earlier rallied in Kosjeric, claiming victory themselves after the close of voting. Vučić alleges the student-led protests are being engineered by foreign powers and has called them an attempted coup, while hinting that national elections might be held soon. The student-led protests have already forced a prime minister to resign, leading to the collapse of the previous government. In April, Parliament elected a new cabinet led by Prime Minister Euro Makut, a doctor and a political newcomer. A strong earthquake shook Colombia, including the capital Bogota, on Sunday, with no reports of casualties. According to the South American country's geological service, the magnitude of the quake was 6.5 and it struck at a depth of 10 to 15 kilometers in the department of Sandimaka. Now, Carlos Carrillo, head of the national unit at Colombia's Risk Management Office, said Paratibueno was the quake's epicenter, with multiple reports of damages. Meanwhile, residents of Santa Cecilia, a small Colombian rural village in the municipality of Paratibueno, were left grappling with destruction after a 6.5 magnitude earthquake struck, leaving homes, businesses and a temple in ruins. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. A skydiving plane crashed in Tennessee's Coffee County on Sunday afternoon, approximately 60 miles south of Nashville. The FAA has confirmed that 20 individuals were aboard the aircraft. While no one died in the crash, the injured are getting treatment. A runaway zebra that spent a week on the loose in Tennessee was finally captured and airlifted back to its owner on Sunday. Footage released by the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office showed the striped fugitive being flown by helicopter to a waiting animal trailer. The daring escape adds to Tennessee's list of unusual animal rescues. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, we get you detailed report on how 11 years of governance under Prime Minister Modi's leadership has impacted lives across the nation. We also get you the latest on how the state of Assam is bracing up with challenges after floods and incessant rainfall wreaked havoc.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome to Kumarakod, Kerala, God's own country.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. A quick relook at the top stories now. Protests intensify in Los Angeles after National Guard deployed over immigration raids face off with law enforcement. Trump threatens action against the demonstrators. US and China set to hold trade talks in London. Trump says China agrees to export rare earth minerals. Ukraine rejects claim of Russian forces entering key central region. Zelenskyy vows to press on with prisoner exchanges with Moscow. World leaders gather in France for a third UN Ocean Conference. Union Minister Jitendra Singh leads Indian delegation. Climate change, pollution, loss of ecosystem high on the agenda. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar begins a week-long visit to France and Belgium. Will hold talks with EU leaders. Aims to renew momentum in the ongoing cooperation in diverse areas. And in sports, Alcaraz pulls off a stunning comeback after being 2 sets down to defeat Yannick Sinner. Defends French Open title after longest Roland Garros final. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar begins his week-long visit to France, European Union and Belgium. During his visit, the minister will travel to Paris and Marseille, where he would be holding bilateral discussions with his counterpart, Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs of France, Jean-Noël Barrot. The minister would also participate in the inaugural edition of the Mediterranean Raisina Dialogue, which is being held in the city of Marseille. During this visit, External Affairs Minister will be holding a strategic dialogue with EU High Representative and Vice President Kaja Kallas. During his visit to Belgium, Minister Jaishankar will hold bilateral consultations with the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Belgium, Maxime Prevot, and also will meet the senior leadership of Belgium. He will also interact with members of the Indian community. The visit of External Affairs Minister is expected to further deepen India's friendly relations with the European Union, France and also Belgium, and give renewed momentum to the ongoing cooperation in different areas. The third United Nations Oceans Conference is set to begin in the French city of Nice on Monday. Co-hosted by France and Costa Rica, the 5-day conference aims to accelerate action on protecting the world's oceans. Here's a report.
The third edition of the conference will seek to mobilize all actors and stakeholders to conserve and sustainably use the oceans. It will focus on key themes such as restoring marine ecosystems, reducing pollution, and promoting ocean-based scientific cooperation. The third UN Ocean Conference will be held from 9th to 13th June. Accelerating action and mobilizing all actors to conserve and sustainably use the ocean is its theme. It aims to identify ways and means to support the implementation of Sustainable Development Goal number 14. The Sustainable Development Goal 14 is also known as Life Below Water. It focuses on protecting and managing marine environments, addressing issues such as pollution, overfishing, and the effects of climate change on the oceans.
The conference itself will adopt a brief, concise, but action-oriented declaration and compile voluntary commitments from all the sectors as a part of what will be referred to as the Nice Ocean Action Plan.
Minister of Earth Sciences Independent Charge Jitendra Singh will represent India at the conference. He will deliver India's national statement at the plenary and hold bilateral meetings with other ministers on the margins of the conference. A key highlight of his visit is an India-Norway side event on sustainable marine governance. Oceans cover more than 70% of Earth's surface. Oceans play a crucial role in regulating environmental balance by absorbing heat and carbon dioxide, moderating the climate, and supporting diverse ecosystems. They are also a provider of vast resources and biodiversity, an important enabler of trade, and an essential link between countries and human communities. And protecting the oceans means protecting a large carbon sink. A carbon sink is anything that absorbs more carbon from the atmosphere than it releases. Ahead of the conference, activists and organizations held protests in Nice demanding better protection of the world's oceans and marine wildlife. Wearing blue and white color clothes, the participants held banners that read, "Protect the ocean, protect life." They denounced activities such as bottom trawling, which is a method of fishing where a cone-shaped net is dragged along the seafloor to catch marine life. It's a destructive practice that can significantly impact the seabed and surrounding ecosystems. Bureau Report, DD India.
India's Earth Sciences Minister Jitendra Singh addressed the Monaco Marine Conference on Sunday, reaffirming India's commitment to building a resilient blue economy. In his address, Minister Singh said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had underscored the importance of blue economy in his Independence Day address. Minister Singh highlighted the India-Norway collaboration in marine spatial planning, a part of the Indo-Norwegian Integrated Ocean and Research Initiative, which has already produced impactful results. The collaboration has led to pilot projects in Puducherry and Lakshadweep, tackling key concerns such as coastal erosion, biodiversity conservation, fisheries management and sustainable tourism. Minister Singh, who is in Monaco, held high-level meetings aimed at fostering international cooperation in marine research and climate science. He held bilateral discussions with Norway's Minister of International Development aboard a historic vessel. The talks focused on strengthening India-Norway cooperation in key areas such as marine planning, Arctic research and advancing a resilient blue economy. Ahead of the Maritime Spatial Planning Meet, Norway's Minister of International Development conveyed Norway's solidarity with India in light of the Pahalgam terror attack. The Norwegian minister acknowledged the strong public sentiment in Norway in favor of India and said that many of its citizens have expressed their desire to see Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Norway. Minister Singh was also received by the Crown Prince of Norway. Ahead of the Oceans Conference in France, French President Emmanuel Macron was optimistic that more countries would join the pledge. Currently, 30 nations have agreed on attending the conference. On the eve of the conference, Macron said that he wants to reach to an agreement for the entire planet and that France was ready to lead scientific research in the deep seas. He also called for more financing from Europe. Meanwhile, Macron dismissed the absence of US President Donald Trump or any of his cabinet officials in the UN Ocean Conference in Nice. He said that France will lead the charge and gather momentum for protecting marine resources.
There are about 30 of us, heads of states and government, who have committed to calling for a moratorium on deep sea exploitation. No, we are not going there. I announced that in Lisbon. There are already about 30 of us who have come and we haven't given up. I want us to reach an agreement for the entire planet because it's completely crazy. It's completely crazy to go exploiting and foraging in a place we don't know. It's utter madness.
More than 100 Brazilians gathered on Sunday to mark Ocean Day with a symbolic hug at São Conrado Beach. The event called The Hug brought together volunteers who first took part in a beach cleanup before joining hands along the shoreline, simulating an embrace of the sea. The event aimed to raise awareness about the importance of preserving and protecting the ocean. June 8th was World Oceans Day, a time to celebrate and raise awareness on the issues affecting the world's oceans. The theme of this year is Wonder, Sustaining What Sustains Us. Taking a leap ahead, India has joined the Clean Seas program and has committed itself to reducing marine litter and plastic in the oceans.
Each year on June 8, the world comes together to celebrate World Oceans Day. The ocean covers 70% of our planet and produces more than half the oxygen we breathe. It feeds over 1 billion people and supports millions of jobs worldwide. But this great wonder is under threat. Plastic makes up 80% of marine pollution, with 8 to 10 million tons entering the ocean every year. By 2050, plastic could outweigh all the fish in the sea. In just the last decade, we have produced more plastic than in the entire previous century, and nearly all of it still exists as harmful microplastics. We have lost half of coral reefs and 90% of big fish populations. The ocean also absorbs 30% of human carbon emissions, helping slow climate change, but it can't do this alone.
Together, we have signed up to an ambitious global commitment to protect 30% of land and sea by 2030. It is our best chance of reversing the damage done to our planet and restoring its well-being. But the clock is ticking. 2030 is fast approaching, and only 17% of land and just 3% of the ocean has been fully protected. If we are to reach our goal, we urgently need to take bold action to protect and restore our planet. We must realize the potential of the blue economy for our ecosystems, our economies, and our communities.
The theme for World Oceans Day 2025 is Wonder Sustaining What Sustains Us. It reminds us to protect the ocean that supports all life on Earth. You can help by saving water, reducing plastic waste, choosing sustainable seafood, and joining local cleanups. This year, events in Nice, France, including the parade of boats from Monaco, will highlight our shared responsibility to care for the ocean. The ocean is our world's greatest wonder. It's time we protect it for today and for the future. India has taken a leap ahead in ocean conservation by being a signatory of UN Coastal Clean Seas campaign aligning with the Swachh Bharat vision. Considering the dangers of plastic waste, India has implemented a nationwide ban on single-use plastic from 1st of July 2022. Ministry of Earth Sciences has joined the United Nations on the Clean Seas program to develop strategies for estimating and reducing marine litter and plastic in the oceans, which is also a part of Sustainable Development Goal 14. Bureau Report, DD, India.
Prime Minister Modi-led government has completed 11 years in office. Up next, we revisit government initiatives to empower women and uplift them. Ninth of June holds a significant place for the government as Prime Minister Narendra Modi took oath on this day in 2024 for a third straight term as the head of the coalition government. The Bharatiya Janata Party will today present a report on Modi government's achievements of the past 11 years. In Delhi, the BJP National President JP Nadda will hold a press conference to present the government's accomplishments to the public along with the future goals of a developed India. Chief Ministers of BJP-ruled states and union ministers will also hold press conferences across various states in the country to inform the public about the achievements of the Modi government. Women empowerment has been a hallmark of Prime Minister Modi's government. The NET report delves into various government initiatives that are designed to empower the country's women and promote women-led development.
Under the government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the focus has shifted from women's development to women-led development. Over the last 11 years, schemes like Beti Bachao Beti Padhao and Mission Shakti have been a reflection of this. Women and children comprise nearly 67.7% of India's population, and their empowerment is not just social reform. It's a strategic imperative. Let's take a look at initiatives for women. With an investment of over rupees 1.81 lakh crore, Poshan 2.0 is being rolled out to build a culture of well-being through improved practices, stronger immunity, and holistic wellness. One of the world's largest public health efforts, Universal Immunization Program covers nearly 2.9 crore pregnant women annually, protecting both mothers and their newborns from vaccine-preventable diseases. 73% of nearly 2.75 crore PM Awas Gramin Yojana or rural housing scheme beneficiaries are women. Under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, 10.33 crore LPG connections have been distributed. Over 12 crore toilets have been built under SBM Gramin as part of the Swachh Bharat mission. Over 15.6 crore tap water connections are transforming the lives of the women in rural India, who had to fetch water from long distances. More than 34.11 lakh crore loan amount has been sanctioned under Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Notably, 68% of the beneficiaries are women. Mission Shakti is a flagship initiative to ensure the safety, security, and empowerment of women across all stages of life. Women have also made strides in defense. The graduation of the first batch of female cadets from the National Defense Academy is a testament to this. India boasts the highest number of female pilots in the world and leads globally in the proportion of women graduating in STEM or science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The landmark Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam marks a constitutional leap for women's political empowerment by reserving 33% of seats in the Lok Sabha or lower house and state assemblies for women. The Modi government has placed women at the center of India's development journey, transforming everyday struggles into opportunities for health, safety, and self reliance. From housing to hygiene, each initiative has uplifted lives and strengthened the foundation of Nari Shakti in rural India. Bureau Report, DD India.
One of the key pro-women schemes of the Government of India is completing 9 years, that is Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan. The scheme was designed to provide a short, comprehensive and quality antenatal care free of cost to the pregnant women on the 9th of every month, particularly during the second and third trimesters. It aims to reduce maternal and neonatal mortality by facilitating early detection and prompt management of high-risk pregnancies. So far, over 60 million pregnant women have been examined under the scheme. Indian states such as Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh are among the leading beneficiaries of this scheme. Darshan Rana, Chairman and Managing Director of Rana Group, lauded the remarkable economic transformation India has witnessed under 11 years of Prime Minister Modi's leadership. He highlighted the shift in India's economic landscape, describing it as a drastic and determined leap towards self-reliance.
So many changes in this government, the way they have reformed and the economic development, social welfare in 11 years, we have so drastically changed in the economy as well as the controls on the systems. The way economy has grown from 10th position to 4th position today, it's a miracle. No normal person can do. So the growth in GDP and the revolution in the GST and Make in India programs, Digital India programs make our country very efficient.
You're watching DD India News. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, Portugal beats Spain in penalties to clinch UEFA Nations League title for a second time. Newly crowned champion Coco Gauff exhibits her French Open trophy in Paris. Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. The flood situation in Assam has improved marginally as the major rivers, including Brahmaputra, showed a receding trend due to decreased levels of rain in the past few days. The number of flood-affected victims has decreased to 2.5 lakh across 11 districts. Meanwhile, the Met Department has issued yellow alerts for the states of Tripura, Mizoram, Nagaland, Manipur, Assam and Meghalaya. As per the latest ASDMA report, none of the rivers are flowing above danger level. The receding of floodwaters has reduced the number of villages affected to around 741. A total of 130 relief camps and centers have been established. More than 24,000 flood-affected individuals are currently sheltered in hundreds of these relief camps, while over 24,000 others who are not staying in the camps are receiving immediate assistance at 30 relief distribution centers. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India. In celebration of the upcoming International Day of Yoga, the All India Institute of Ayurveda has announced a special 3-day Iyengar Yoga workshop under the inclusive theme Yoga Samavesh beginning today. The workshop will focus on precision in body alignment techniques and enhancing mental wellness, and it is the hallmark of the Iyengar Yoga tradition. India's Chief of Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, visited forward posts in the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand to assess security and operational readiness. He interacted with troops from Indian Army and the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, commanding their unwavering dedication and resilience in challenging conditions. Devotees in huge numbers reached the Tiruchendur Subramanya Swami Temple in Toothukudi, Tamil Nadu to celebrate Vaikasi Visakam, also known as the Spring Festival. It began on May 31st. The devotees wore traditional attire and celebrated the festival by performing the traditional dance. Let's get to updates from the world of business now. In a bid to ease rising tensions, the United States and China are set to meet in London on Monday for high-stakes trade talks. Both sides are hoping to revive a fragile agreement reached in Geneva last month, offering a potential path to stability after months of escalating trade measures under President Trump's renewed administration. Take a look at this report.
US President Donald Trump has said that his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping has agreed to export rare earth minerals and magnets to the US, in a move that could lower tensions between the world's biggest economies.
Well, we're very far advanced on the China deal. We wanted clarification. We had to have clarification. A little bumpy up here. We had to have clarification, and that's what we're really having the meeting about. We had a very good talk. I talked to President Xi for, I guess, more than 2 hours. We had a very good talk. It's a complicated deal, but it's a deal that's bring us a lot of money and a lot of everything else, and we get along very well with President Xi and with China.
The remark comes a day after Trump and Xi had a rare telephonic conversation amid weeks of disagreements over tariffs. Rare earth minerals are crucial components of electronics, magnets, and batteries. According to a report, China has granted temporary export licenses to rare earth suppliers of the top 3 US automakers. Delegates from Washington and Beijing are set to meet in London on Monday for further trade talks. In May, the two sides struck an agreement in Switzerland to roll back for 90 days most of the tit-for-tat tariffs they had placed on each other. But China's decision in April to suspend exports of a wide range of critical minerals and magnets continued to disrupt supplies needed by automakers and military contractors around the world. Trump had accused China of violating the Geneva Agreement and ordered curbs on chip design software and other shipments to China. Bureau Report, DD India.
Up next, we get to updates from the world of sports. Now, in tennis, Carlos Alcaraz outclassed Yannick Sinner with a comeback special after an enthralling 5-set thriller to lift his second Roland Garros title in Paris on Sunday. Alcaraz lost the first 2 sets before suddenly looking practically unbeatable after saving 3 championship points. The momentum swung widely between both champions, and Alcaraz prevailed with a 4-6, 6-7, 6-4, 7-6, 7-6 scorecard in his favour. Newly crowned French Open champion Coco Gauff exhibited the high Roland Garros trophy as fans cheered her on and scrambled to get a glimpse of the women's singles champion on Sunday. The American battled from a set down to beat Aryna Sabalenka 6-7, 6-2, 6-4 and lift her first French Open crown and her second Grand Slam title after the 2023 US Open. Legendary Cristiano Ronaldo broke down in tears after Portugal defeated favourite Spain to clinch the UEFA Nations League title on Monday. Portugal have won their second Nations League title after a tense final. Portugal converted all 5 of their spot kicks to beat Spain 5-3 in the penalty shootout after the game was held to a 2-each draw at extra time. Ronaldo scored 138th goal of his international career in the final. In badminton, Danish third seed Anders Antonsen beat Taiwanese Cho Tin Chen 22-20, 21-14 to clinch his first Indonesia Open men's singles title on Sunday. The emotional win marked a long-awaited triumph for Antonsen, who had finished his runners-up in 2019 against Ten Chen and again in 2024 against Shi Yuki. He has finally clinched the Super 1000 title on his third appearance in the final. Ten Chen raced to a 15-10 lead in the opening game, but Antonsen clawed his way back to edge it 22-20. The second game was far more one-sided, with Antonsen dominating. Moments after sealing the victory, he collapsed flat on his back as the weight of the past near misses and years of perseverance came pouring out. A 36-member Indian shooting contingent led by Paris Olympics medalist Manu Bhaker, Sarabjot Singh and Swapnil Kusale will be in action at the ISSF World Cup 2025 in Germany. Bhaker will compete in the individuals 10 meters, 25 meters and the 10 meters air pistol and mixed team events. Two-time Olympian Elavenil Valarivan will be in action in the women's 10 meters air rifle event. The Zeugma Mosaic Museum in Turkey is a treasure trove of ancient Roman art and history, boasting the world's largest mosaic collection. Opened in 2011, this stunning museum features over 2,448 square meters of intricately crafted mosaics, frescoes, fountains and sculptures from the ancient city of Zeugma, founded by Alexander the Great's general Seleucus I Nicator in the 3rd century BC. The modern galleries are designed to preserve the delicate mosaics while transporting visitors back in time. That's it in this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.